My old ore lifter was almost full, so it was moving slow and kicking up a huge dust cloud, but there was no doubt the meteor that landed during our shift was no meteor. We were mining deposits on the hot side of Mercury, remember? And we sun hogs, private contractors, don't spend a lot of time looking straight up, not on Mercury anyway. Still, when that bogey shot across the horizon and hit, we knew in our bones something was up. First off, it came right out of the sun, a sector of space that had no meteors. And we didn't have any telemetry gear, but Augusta swore she saw that cockeyed thing decelerate before impact. Was it a lifeboat or a busted satellite? No signal, no SOS, but we didn't hesitate to check it out. Call it the code of space if you want. It's a dangerous place and you learn to count on your neighbors. Thank goodness for the low G environment on Mercury. Once we untethered the ore container, our battered little buggy managed some serious speed, which means we got there before the hideous critters popped the hatch and scattered. I can't describe the feeling we had when we first realized that we were really looking at an alien spaceship. Humanity had been colonizing the 9 planets for almost 50 years without any sign of intelligent life. By today's standards, the ship was small, way too small to cross interstellar space, so it was obvious to us that the landing was supposed to go unnoticed. Why else target us sun hogs? There's so few of us, no one would realize we were gone. Their science was like nothing we had seen before. Power sources that made no sense, types of energy we never dreamed of. And as of the alien crew, well, I never thought I'd be happy about hijacking the problem we had a few years ago. That's when the old Earth Commission issued us atomic rifles. Mert Brombaugh, independent solar contractor. Now that I've read the scenario introduction, let's discuss the setup for this tutorial entitled Mercury, Alien Probe. This scenario is designed for 2 to 4 Rocketeers, and today I'll be playing with 2 of them. I'll be playing with Yeoman Cookie Hannah and Chief Lance DeSoto, and we'll discuss them a little bit more in detail in a few minutes here. Just a little personal trivia too. Space Cadets is the very first board game in which I ever painted miniatures for. So if some of them look a little rough, just know I was learning how to paint, and we'll also see some aliens that I've never even finished or even touched up. Hopefully I'll rectify that sooner than later. Anyway, back to our scenario. Our objective here is to kill that Soul Sentinel, and the book instructs us to select 8 alien tokens from the box that include leaders, saucermen, and that one Sentinel. We're instructed to mix the Sentinel and 2 other alien tokens together and randomly place them in these top 3 tiles. So one of these tiles here has the Sentinel, and once we eliminate him, or we discover and eliminate him, the game is essentially over, even if there's other aliens on the board. The remaining alien tokens are then placed randomly on the remaining tiles except for our starting tile, the airlock. Any other named aliens on these tokens are ignored for this first game. There's 3 alien reference cards down here, one for the leader, one for the saucerman, and one for the sentinel, and we'll discuss these more in depth when they actually come up during gameplay. Additionally, I have 8 predetermined discovery tokens that have also been placed randomly on the board here, and I have their deck of discovery items which will reveal when they're discovered during gameplay. I have my dice tower right over here on the left-hand side with a pool of 10-sided dice. I have a pool or supply of additional cubes up here for if they're needed for either wounds or charges for some of the items that we get. Some of the special rules for this scenario. We are ignoring all bugs listed on the alien tokens. Bugs do not appear in this scenario, so when we reveal some of these tokens and it says bugs, just forget about it. They're not in this game. Also, each Rocketeer is only equipped with an atomic rifle. Generally, they have starting items per scenario, but on this introductory scenario, they are going to have no starting items other than their one atomic rifle each. And then finally, there is no red alert stage in this introductory scenario. Red alert conditions and effects will be introduced later on during the campaign. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a closer look at our Rocketeers. Our first Rocketeer today is Chief Lance DeSoto, as represented by this purple miniature. The first thing you'll notice here is Lance has 3 action points, but one of those action points is a combat action point, meaning he can only use it with a weapon. He can't use it for anything else, unlike some of the other players. He starts off with 6 hit points, and again, in a 2-player game, he's going to start with 6 oxygen cubes. He also has an IQ rating of 2, but in this tutorial scenario, we might not get to any tests that would require an IQ. His personal overkill option is strafe, and it's per overkill spent, inflict 1 free hit on any target in range and line of sight. If attacking, strafed tile must be adjacent to either original target or to other strafed tiles. No tile can be strafed twice in one die roll. He's also going to start with an atomic rifle, whose overkill option is dislodge. Move 1 alien in line of sight, 1 tile. And as you can see here, the atomic rifle has a range of up to 4 tiles, including where the player stands here in this first tile, meaning if he attacks an alien in the same tile that he's in, he's going to be rolling 2 dice. Tiles 2 and 3 away from him, he'll be rolling 5 dice, and 4 tiles away, he'll be rolling 3 dice. Our other Rocketeer today is Yeoman Cookie Hannah, and she has also 3 action points, and you'll notice one of these is a non-combat action point. She starts off with 5 hit points and also 6 oxygen. She has an IQ rating of 3. She also has an atomic rifle, which we talked about with Lance DeSoto, and her personal overkill option is sway. Per overkill spent, stun 1 alien in the yeoman's tile. The alien cannot have more than 1 hit point. Okay, I went ahead and readjusted the camera and kind of tightened things up a little bit so I could get these 3 cards more on camera. And the first thing we have to do here for turn number 1 is decide which of our 2 Rocketeers we want to go first. And in this case, because I know that aliens are going to come out on the very first turn, I kind of want to use Chief Lance DeSoto. He's got the higher hit points. He's a little bit stronger, and he has to use a combat action point here. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and give the Chief the very first scan order, and we'll go ahead and give Yeoman Cookie the second one. So the first thing that we're going to do here for Chief is reveal a tile. And remember, it has to be a tile closest to him or to the active player. And in this case, we only have a choice of 2. So I think I'm going to go ahead and select this one here. So let me move these tokens off board real quick, and we'll go ahead and reveal this tile. This is just a standard tile, and one thing I want to make you aware of is these numbers here, or these arrows, have to generally go in the same direction as our starting tile. So if you notice down here, our airlock has an arrow pointing this way. That means our first tile also has to be going that way as well. Now let's go ahead and turn over our discovery token. And the first thing that we have here is a force field belt. I can opt to go pick that up. To pick that up, it would be a non-action point. However, I have to be in that same tile. I can't pick it up 1 tile away. It would cost me 1 action point to move into there. But right now, I know that there's aliens coming, so let's go ahead and see what we have here. Okay, we have 2 saucermen and a bug, and remember the special rules for this introductory scenarios, we're ignoring all bugs. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 saucermen out there, and go ahead and put 2 saucermen on this tile. And we'll go ahead and flip this card over now because we now have saucermen. And they have 1 hit point each. They have a movement of 1. They attack. They have 2 attack dice, and they have a range of 1. I think it behooves us right now to go ahead and attack. Maybe we can kill them before they can fire any shots off at us. Now on our atomic rifle here, because they're 2 spaces away, I get to roll up to 5 dice. And in this game, we're using 10-sided dice. A 1, 2, and 3 is considered a hit. Anything else is considered a miss. A 0 is 10 in this game. So we're going to go ahead and select 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and roll. And awesome. I've got 2 hits. I got 2 threes right here. So I went ahead and I can either kill both of them. I have no overkills on here. My other dice was a 10, a 4, and an 8. So we went ahead and eliminated those 2 guys right off the bat. They're not even going to get a chance to shoot back at us. So that's pretty cool. So that was our 1 combat action point. For another action point, let's go ahead and move our chief into this tile here. That'll get him closer to moving up, and that costs us another action point. And then for let's go, before we pick this up, let's see what the force field belt does. So let's take a look at our cards. I don't know if I want to take it or leave it for Cookie. So force field belt, it does require an IQ test, and he's got an IQ of 2. If we discover what it is, it would get 3 charges. It cancels 1 hit, so if someone were to shoot at him or hurt him, we could cancel 1 hit up to 3 times. And this item may be used multiple times per turn. So once the 3 charges are out, that's over with. So maybe, because he is the combat guy, and we're going to use him more or less as our tank, maybe we do pick that up. So let's go ahead and give the chief the force field belt. That doesn't mean he knows how to use it yet. We have to do a test on that. What that basically is saying is, for an action here, we can analyze an item. So he'll spend his last action point here to analyze that. Based on his IQ score of 2, he's going to roll 2 dice, and if we get a discovery, or if he's successful, then he knows how to use that item. So for right now, let's just say I'm just going to use this as a marker that he does not know how to use it just yet. So we're going to go ahead and roll 2 dice. And we got a 7 and an 8, which means he does not know how to use it. So I'm just going to leave this marker here until he figures out how to go ahead and use that. So with that being said, now it's going to be Yeoman's Cookie's turn, and she is going to go ahead and scan her first tile. So let's go ahead and move that to 2 over there. We'll turn this tile over and rotate it in proper orientation. And notice that we have hatches right now. These are closed hatches. In order for her to move into these hatches, we'd have to open up these doorways here, and that costs a point of action as well. So let's discover what we have here. We have the mentality helmet. So what is the mentality helmet? Ignore panic or mind control. Once we pick it up, we know how to use it automatically, and it has 2 charges on it. So we'll just leave that there for now. And now let's see what we have for aliens. Oh, okay, we have 2 saucermen. So we'll go ahead and put 2 more saucermen out on there. And we got to see if she can't really hit them because the door is currently closed right now, but she hasn't taken any actions yet. So let's go ahead and see what she's going to do. Okay, one of the things we have to decide whether or not Yeoman Cookie is going to open that door or not. Just to give you a little background, these are considered closed hatches. Even if the hatch is only on 1 tile here, this would be considered an open hatch, but she has no line of sight towards these aliens right now, so she can't shoot them unless the door was open. However, on the flip side is the aliens can shoot her. They can attack, at least saucermen can attack through closed hatches. In the case that our Rocketeers are equidistant from our aliens, the aliens will always select the Rocketeer that is either A, closest to them, or in this case, since if they're equidistant, they will select the person with the highest order number. And in this case, she's order number 2. Remember, Chief was number 1. She's number 2, so they would automatically go and try to attack her through that closed door. So I think we do have one non-combat action point. We might as well go ahead and open that door up. So with one non-action point, I'm going to go ahead and open this door right here. So we put, I guess I'll orientate that so you guys can read it. We're going to say the hatch is now open. And that was for one non-action point. And then she's got 2 other actions. So she's going to go ahead and take a shot. So remember, because they're at least 2 tiles away, she's going to go ahead and roll 5 dice as well. So there's, oops, I just dropped that on the floor. So I've got 3, 4, and 5. We're going to take our 5 dice. And we're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. Well, unfortunately, we only got 1 hit. We got 1 3. The rest were all misses. So we take out 1. We killed 1 of the aliens there, and that was 1 action point. We have 1 more to go, so let's go ahead and do that because we don't want them hitting us. So we'll take our 5 dice, and we're going to roll for our last one. And complete miss altogether. We didn't get anywhere close to that hitting her or hitting that alien. So that was a kind of a whiff. I could spend 1 oxygen from her pool to take 1 more turn, but we're just not going to do that here. I feel okay. So that being said, that is our Rocketeers' turn. Now the aliens are going to go ahead and do their turn. Well, this door is already open. She opened it last time. He's not going to move. He's already within range of shooting her. He has to be, remember the range, attack range is 1. He's within 1 tile. He's going to go ahead and he's got 2 dice to roll. And he's going to hit on a 1, 2, or a 3. So we got our 2 dice, and he hits for 1. So unfortunately, Yeoman took a hit. So we're going to go ahead and remove 1 cube from her. She is down to 4 hit points, and that is the end right there. So now we're going to go to cleanup. So part of the cleanup phase is we're going to remove all hatch open. So this hatch automatically closes all over again. And none of our aliens were stunned. We're going to reset our Rocketeers' action points so they all get back to starting. And then we will decide, we'll take these markers off and then go ahead and decide who is going to start for round number 2. Okay, we're about to start round number 2 or turn number 2. And again, we have to decide who's going to go first. And in this case, I actually think I'm going to give Yeoman Cookie the first scan. And Chief scan number 2. And the reason being is I think that if the aliens are going to attack and they're equidistant, they will attack whoever has the highest scan number. And at this point, the Chief has more hit points, and he's more or less going to be our tank. So I'm going to have him go the first time, or excuse me, scan order number 2. So for scan order number 1, first thing we have to do is scan a tile for Yeoman Cookie. And at this point, all 3 of these tiles here in the middle are equidistant from her. This has an open end right here that might be good for Lance to go ahead and attack if that door is open. So I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to use Yeoman's first scan action, and we're going to go ahead and reveal this tile here and orientate that. Okay, that's good. We have an open door right here. We have a heat ray, if he can pick that up. And for aliens, we have a leader and 2 saucermen. So I'm going to grab a leader. And we'll go ahead and flip his card over right now. And we'll put 2 saucermen in that tile as well. Grab another one here. And at this point, leaders will always go before saucermen. They are ranked number 2 in this hierarchy of how movement goes when it's the alien's turn. Leader also has 1 hit point. He has a movement of 2, and when he moves, if he moves, he will take the saucermen with him. At this point, though, he wouldn't move. He's within range 1 of Lance, so there's no reason for him to move. He does, however, attack with 4 dice, whereas the saucermen only attack with 2 dice, so he's got a higher chance of hitting us. He can move and attack through closed hatches. He can move and attack in the same turn. But I think it's still Yeoman's turn right now, so we have 3 actions. I kind of want to take that guy out just in case, and he is 3 tiles away or 2 tiles away from her, so she would be able to roll 5 dice. So let's not worry about this guy just yet. Let's go ahead and try to use one of our combat or one of our action points right now and roll 5 dice, and we're going to target that leader. So we are looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. So I've got 5 dice here. And I've got 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits. So I have 3 successes. So we definitely kill him. We kill the leader. He's only has 1 hit point. And we have 2 overkills. So let's go ahead and remove the leader. That's good. And the overkill. So what can we do? So her overkill option is she can stun 1 alien in the yeoman's tile. Well, there is no alien in the yeoman's tile. Her rifle, she could dislodge and move 1 alien in line of sight 1 tile. So she could move 1 of these aliens off in another direction, probably furthest away. That might not be bad. And the other one she can do is do a psychic scream. We could stun 1 leader or saucerman. Well, she's actually got 2 overkills. So why don't we move? Well, we could either move 1 of these guys. We could move 1 away and then maybe stun 1 leader or saucerman line of sight. You know what? We're not going to stun this guy. We'll stun this guy right here just in case. Because the door's not open, we'll go ahead and stun him. So our second action then, maybe we move her, a non-combat action, maybe we move her up to his spot right here. And maybe our third action, we take 1 more shot. Maybe this time now we're going to shoot again. And this will also be 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to shoot, we're going to go for that guy. So we're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. And yep, I got 1 3 right there. All the rest were misses. So we go ahead and kill that alien. So that's the end of Yeoman's turn right there. That was pretty successful. We killed the leader, one saucerman, we stunned one, and we moved one. So now it's Chief's turn, and Chief now has to scan. And the closest one, he can only scan this tile. That's the closest one to him. So let's go ahead and reveal this tile. Orientate the arrow there. Okay, we have a closed hatch, so the only way to get around is either open this hatch or go around. We have a telepathy band. I'm not going to read that right now. And as far as aliens go, we have another leader and two saucermen. So let's go ahead and populate with a leader. And we'll go ahead and put two saucermen on the board. So there are two saucermen here. And they will attack, if we do nothing, they will attack Chief on their turn because he is the highest order number. So we have to decide, what do we want to do? Well, he's got no line of sight towards them, and he doesn't really want to spend an action point opening a door. He's got to use one combat action point. So why don't we use our first combat action point right here, and we'll go ahead and target this guy. And so that's going to be 5 dice because he is 2 spaces away. And I got 1 success. I got 2 successes. So that's definitely a kill. And we've got line. We do not have line of sight on these 3 guys because the door is closed. But we have 1 overkill. And his overkill ability is he can strafe 1 free hit on any target in range and line of sight. Well, that doesn't work. He could move 1 alien in line of sight. Well, that doesn't work. So the last thing he can do is he killed a saucerman. He could stun, use a psychic scream. He could stun 1 leader or saucerman, ignore line of sight. So why don't we just go ahead and stun that guy right there. Okay, so his second action is he's going to go ahead, move up to this tile here, and for a non-action point he could get this heat ray. So let's see what the heat ray is about. X-ray goggles, heat ray, okay. Permanently destroy or seal 1 hatch in line of sight, place marker. And it's got 3 charges. So he might as well go ahead and pick that up. I don't know if he'll actually use it. And that has no IQ on there, so he automatically knows how to use it, and he's going to get 3 charges there. So he could destroy this door right now. He could, for 1 charge, he could destroy that door. I don't know if I want to do that. Or he could take 1 more combat action. I mean, technically now, even though these hatches are closed, this is open. This is a tough call. I don't know if this is considered a line of sight or not. This is exposed, but this isn't. I'm going to have to read about that later. So for right now, let's just say it's not, and we will just spend the 2 points, I think, or we'll spend 2 dice for his IQ action to see if we can figure out that force field belt. So he's going to roll 2 dice, and we are looking for a 1, 2, or a 3. And he does not. He failed that, so he does not know how to use that still. He's still trying to figure that one out. Okay, that looks like that is the end of our turn here. And we'll go ahead and do a cleanup at this point. We didn't open up. Oh, no, I take that back. The aliens have to move. So aliens are going to attack. They are going to attack. They can attack through a closed door. He's got the highest scan order number, so we're going to roll 2 dice each for those guys, and they will attack Lance. So alien number 1 will roll 2 dice. And they got a hit, a single hit, so he loses 1 health. And now the second alien is going to attack. He's also going to attack Lance. And that's a 6 and a 9. Both of those are misses. So in this case, Lance only lost the 1 hit point here. So Lance is down to 5 hit points. Yeoman Cookie is down to 4 hit points. We reset. There's no hatches currently open. These 2 guys, this saucerman and this leader, wake up from their stunned status. And we reset our action points. And go ahead and take these markers off and decide what we're going to do for round number 3. All right, starting with round number 3, I think this time we're going to go ahead and have a Lance start. And so we'll put number 2 on Yeoman Cookie. And first things first, we have to reveal the scan a tile, closest one. And the closest one to Chief is this one. So let's move these markers off for a second. And that's pretty good. No closed hatches, so we can move around and shoot into there, which we might want to do. Our discovery token is we have X-ray goggles. And our aliens, and mind you, one of these 3 tiles might be the Sentinel. So this could be the Sentinel right now, and if it is, and we kill him, we win the game, or we win the scenario. And it is not. We have a leader and 2 saucermen. Okay, so let's put another leader there. And 2 saucermen. So we can see the board is starting to populate here. We need to clear some of these guys out. He's got 3, so he did his scan right now. Let's go ahead. We want to take that leader out. So let's go ahead and use our obligatory combat action right now. And we're going to target this leader. And we're going to roll for 3 or 5 dice because that's 2 tiles away, or 1 tile away. That's a range of 2. So that would be 5 dice. We're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. And we've got 2 successes. So we've got a 1 and a 2. So good news is we go ahead and that leader only has 1 hit point. So we go ahead and kill him. And we have 1 additional success. So we could use a psychic scream. We could stun a leader or a saucerman. I think we'll go ahead and stun this leader here. I would rather him not try to shoot at us. So that was combat action right there. We'll go ahead and, since we're in the same tile and these 2 guys, we'll go ahead and spend our second one. We'll do the same. I'm going to roll 5 dice. And I only got 1 success. I got 1, 2 right there. The rest were misses. So we went ahead and killed our second guy. Might as well go for broke. I want to try to get rid of as much of these guys as I can. So let's go ahead and spend 5 dice for this one. And, oh, I did. I got 1 hit. Awesome. So only 1 success, but that takes care of this last guy right there. So that is Lance's turn. He is completely done. I think for Yeoman, let's see, she's one, well, the closest one away. We can either scan either one of those two. 1, 2, 1, 2. Just to end this game, let's go ahead and scan this one, this tile here. And we'll go ahead, orientate that tile as tile. We have a grav wave generator weapon. And is this our sentinel? It is. So our sentinel comes out, and I'm just grabbing, this is probably one of the only sentinels I've painted for this game. So this sentinel is going to come out, and as long as we can get rid of him, we win. So time to turn over the sentinel card. He's got a movement of 2. Ooh, he's tough. He's got a attack of 6 dice, but he's has to be in the same hex or tile as you are. So he'll move and attack. He can't, but he has to be in the same tile. So I think for us, we probably want to spend a non-combat action and move up to here. He is then in line of sight, basically, in this tile. Let's see, we could rearrange and pretend that she's standing there and she sees him. And she can go ahead and roll 5 dice against him on one of her action points. And he has health of, what does he have? He has 4 hit points. So let's go ahead. Our first combat. Oops. She's going to go ahead and roll 5 dice. And she got 2 hits here. So she got 2 successes. So it definitely hits him for 1. And even though we got 2 successes, only 1 hit is registered. All additional hits against any single target would be an overkill. So at this point here, we're going to decide whether or not, I think we're going to use stagger. So the overkill option on stagger is as such. The sentinel has -2 attack dice for the rest of this turn. So if he comes into here and he goes against Lance, instead of rolling 6 dice, he's only going to roll 4 dice. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to give him a stagger. So I don't know. I guess as I'm going to use this cube right here and just kind of mark stagger on his card just to let me know that that's the cause. So that was one of her action points right there. She can attack again, and why not? She needs to get rid of this guy. Oops. Got to work around the camera here. So we're going to get 5 dice again. I'm going to roll. I'm looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. And we got 1 more hit. So out of those 5 dice, we only got 1. Everything else was a miss. So he takes 2 hit points worth of damage. And that is the turn for Yeoman Cookie. Now, the aliens are going to go. And in this case here, this leader is stunned. So the leader is not going to attack. He's just going to lay down. The saucermen are going to go ahead and attack. And we'll start with the closest ones here. They are going to shoot at Lance. They can shoot through a closed door. Oh, actually, they're going to shoot at Yeoman. She has the highest scan order at number 2. So the first ones, they are going to shoot at her first. So get our 2 dice. So alien number 1 shooting at Yeoman completely misses. So alien number 2 is now going to shoot at Yeoman and completely misses. They whiffed that one. That's good news for us. So now this alien here, he has to be in range of 1, and he can move through closed hatches. So maybe he just wants to get closer to us. And he'll go ahead and move there. And then he will attack. He will also attack Yeoman. So he will roll 2 dice. And he completely misses as well. That's great. So 3 misses for our aliens here. Our leader is stunned. And now our Sentinel is going to move. Unfortunately, he's going to move 2 spaces. 1, 2, and move right into the same spot as we are at. And he will, based on scan order, also attack Yeoman. He's staggered, so instead of rolling 6 dice, he is going to roll only 4 dice. And let's move that out of the way. I guess, you know what I should have done is I should have used oxygen cubes. Oh, golly, I'm sorry about that. I should have used my oxygen cubes and to get an extra turn out of these guys, but it is what it is. Live and learn. So we got 4 dice. And there's 1 hit there. So Yeoman is going to lose 1 additional hit point. And let's make sure. So there's no overkill. Oh, and it automatically, when he enters a tile, the Sentinel has this effect, automatically inflicts panic on all Rocketeers in a tile that it enters. So we have to check for panic on both of these guys. So panic roll, each one loses an oxygen. So they're breathless at his sight. So both of them are going to lose an oxygen cube. Okay, so it is now the end of the turn. There are no doors to close. This leader is going to go ahead and stand back up. We're going to reset our actions, and I'll tell you right now, going into the next turn, I think Chief is going to go first again. So let's go ahead and move everything back. All right, and we will be back with the next turn. Okay, quick recap on here. We are moving into our, I believe, our 4th turn at this point, and we have exposed the Sentinel. He's down to 2 hit points out of his 4. Stagger condition is removed from him. I am going to have Chief DeSoto go first, and then followed by Yeoman Cookie. If we defeat the Sentinel, the game is automatically over. We're considered to have won, and we'll go right to the epilogue. However, before we do that, it doesn't really matter which of the 2 tiles we scan. They're both equidistant, but we always do the scan first. So at this point, we are going to reveal this tile for Chief. And we have discovered a proton blade, but it's kind of far away to get to, and there's a lot to get through. And we have 2 saucermen. So we have 2 saucermen there, and that is our scan action for Chief. We're going to go right after this guy. It's going to be a little tough because this close, well, in this close of a range, he only gets to roll 2 dice as opposed to 5 dice. But we do have some blue oxygen cubes, so we can do this up to 4 times. So we'll use our first combat action, and we're going to go ahead and roll 2 dice against the Sentinel. And we're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s, and that's a miss. Complete miss. So we'll go ahead and use our second one, do the same. Great, we got 1 hit. So Sentinel is down to 1 hit point. We'll go ahead and Roll again. Complete miss. So we will spend 1 oxygen cube. The only time I can do that right now, 1 oxygen cube. And he's going to roll again. Oops, he's going to roll one last time. This is his turn. And complete miss. So we hit him at least once, but not enough. All right, moving to Yeoman's turn. She's going to use her scan and reveal the very last tile. And which is the another airlock. And we have a time warp. And for aliens, we have 2 saucermen. So our last 2, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Boy, I gotta watch myself there. So we have 2 saucermen left. All right, she's got 1 non-combat action. Oh, she never picked up any items. I might as well, God, if she moved here, or if she moved into this tile here, she could roll up to 5 dice. She does have 1 non-combat action. So let's go ahead and just move her into this area here. And you know what? I got to check if she has, if anyone gets a roll of combat opportunity because she bailed on a tile. I don't know if that's a legal move or not. I'm going to have to check. Okay, I just scanned the rule book again, and I could not find anything regarding attacks of opportunity if a Rocketeer escapes a tile with an alien in it. So in the case that I had Yeoman Cookie move from this tile to this tile here, I'm using a non-combat action point, and she'll have 2 action points left to go ahead and attack him at a range of 2 tiles away, so she'll be able to use 5 dice. If I'm wrong in that, please go ahead and correct me, but I reviewed the rule book really quickly a couple different times, and I didn't see anywhere that would be the case, that the Sentinel might be able to go ahead and finish off an attack. So with that being said, let's go ahead and use one of our action points here to try and shoot and finish off this Sentinel for 1 more hit point. So we're going to get 5 dice, and I'm looking for the 1s, 2s, and 3s. And that is a complete miss, not even close. So we will use another one and for a repeat of the same action. And in this case, we actually did. I got a 2, 2, and a 3. So that is enough to kill that Sentinel. That Sentinel is now down. And 2 other successes. She has 2 overkills. So what can we do with those overkills? She can dislodge and move an alien in line of sight. 1 space, so technically she could move him back 1. These guys are behind closed doors, so that doesn't really matter. Her personal overkill option is sway. She can stun 1 alien in the Yeoman's tile while there are no aliens in the Yeoman's tile. And finally here, she could stagger, but he's already dead, so she can't stagger him. So the best that she can do is possibly just push 1 alien back here, and that really isn't for anything. But with that being said, that's more or less the end of this scenario. And I know this is a tutorial scenario. Otherwise, you know, obviously we've got quite a few aliens left here on the board, and our tactics might be a little bit different. But for all intents and purposes, this scenario is 1. So we'll go ahead and get right to the epilogue. My mistake. There actually isn't an epilogue for this scenario. Actually, there isn't an epilogue for any of the 20 scenarios included with this game. That being said, we only scratched the surface of what we encountered here in this opening tutorial. We only saw 3 alien creatures and just a very limited amount of the rule set. I'd actually like to play this game a couple more times for you, and as you progress through the scenario booklet, we'll see more and more things. We'll see more aliens, we will see more rules, we will see new encounters, we will discover more items together. I really enjoy this game. Actually, I really enjoy the retro sci-fi 1950s like pulp adventure, and I wish more games would do this today. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I liked making it for you. And if you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave me a comment. And for Pips and Chits, this is Jason, and I will again thank you for watching.